We are out here by the zucchini patch, which is what we're going to be working on today. I just showed you a couple clips of harvesting the garlic that I have. It is all out of the ground now and it is sitting on my patio in the shade, drying off. I'll be working on getting them cleaned up and hopefully all cured and ready to go for eating for the rest of the year, basically. But today we are going to work on these zucchini. I have never successfully grown zucchini before. Last year it was kind of a fail. I got a couple things off of it, but it didn't do that great. So I have several very large zucchinis that I need to get off of these plants and inside and processed. And then I also need to do some work on them, the zucchini plants themselves. I did a little more research this year and I have seen several people taking off these lower stems in order to make sure that the insides, or basically the plant, stays nice and aerated. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So as you can see, these are beauties. I have several large zucchinis on here, and I actually have some that I bought from the store. I don't know why I bought them. I think they were on sale. So I already have some to eat for this week. So these are going to go into, get shredded and go into the freezer. Thing I wanted to show you guys is that our potatoes are starting to die off. They're looking pretty scraggly. They're starting to lean over and fall over. And this is a really good sign. This actually means that they are almost done making us lots of potatoes. You don't have to worry too much if you see this happening. I was a little freaked out last year because I thought they were just straight up dying. They weren't getting enough water or something like that. But this is totally fine and totally normal, and we will be able to harvest some potatoes here fairly soon. I'm just going to wait for them to basically completely die off and then I'll dig them up. The last thing I wanted to show you guys was our corn. It has been flowering over the last couple days, and every evening I have just been coming out and pulling off some of these flowers and spreading the pollen around on my silks here. I don't have a ton of corn, so natural pollination is not the best with this sort of thing. You usually want to have them in large blocks so that when the wind comes, the pollen really kind of distributes around everybody. But doing this every evening and self-pollinating them basically kind of gives you hopefully the same results, and hopefully we'll do just fine for getting all of my corn pollinated.
Hey friends, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my experience butchering chickens for the first time. I was lucky enough to have a friend of mine that has some land that was also interested in learning about meat chickens, so we decided to go in together for a flock. In total, we had 26 chickens, and we actually managed to have all 26 chickens survive, so we had a 100% success rate as far as raising them goes, which is amazing. We chose the Cornish cross, which is a very popular meat bird, to raise. We did find a couple different things that we definitely want to change for next time. These birds are not very thrifty, so we went through quite a lot of feed as far as raising them goes. So we are definitely considering other breeds for our next round. I believe the Freedom Ranger is known to be more thrifty. And the other reason we wanted to consider different birds is that, yes, the breasts on these birds are very large, but we would take smaller breasts if the meat was more evenly dispersed across the bird. So we are looking into a couple different breeds to figure out what we might want to try. This time we just went with the very basic for our first time, and it worked out well enough. We raised them out to 8 and 10 weeks as is recommended and butchered them on 2 separate days. My friend's parents have actually raised meat chickens before, so they were kind enough to come out and show us the basics for the first day that we did this. And from then on, it was just a trial and error on our part for figuring out the best way for ourselves to do everything. The hardest part of this whole process for me actually was the killing part, mostly because my anxiety about making sure to do it as humanely and quickly as possible. So once I got past that, everything else was fairly simple and easy for me. Since we both have fairly small households of only 2 people, we did not end up doing whole roaster bird packaging. We actually ended up butchering the birds all the way down into breasts, thighs, drumsticks, and wing parts so that we could vacuum seal them in portions that would be more applicable for us to use in easy meals. Of course, this took quite a bit longer than just wrapping the whole bird and getting it packaged that way, but it is far more usable and it actually saves me a lot of freezer space doing it this way. I do have some experience with animal anatomy as well as butchering, so I found that part fairly easy. Getting all of the innards out once I knew what I was doing, great, had no problems with that. Overall, this whole experience is something that I would definitely do again, and it's definitely something that I would be interested in doing on my homestead. Honestly, the hardest part of all this was keeping our water temperature at the correct temperature. It kind of varied a lot, so we would get birds that were really easy to defeather or birds that we really struggled to do. We did not have the barrel type style of defeather. We ended up attaching a small attachment I got off of Amazon onto the drill and using that. We did find that useful. It definitely saved us some time, but it is not as thorough as the barrel style of the same thing. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Next time that we do this, I will definitely bring you guys a bit closer and show you in more detail all of these things that I learned. This was our first time, and we were really just focused on doing our job as well as we could and figuring out all the different parts of this. I am still waiting for the final cost of raising these animals. As soon as I get that and the numbers crunched, I will post it down below so you guys can get some idea of how much this actually cost us. And that is all I have for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.